Good evening and welcome to another Monday Night Live. You are joining us here live in West Byfleet, Surrey. Simon and I, regular spot, 6 p.m. Well, let me tell you, we're flying solo this evening.
So
James is off swanning it around Nice. Lots to talk about why James is in Nice. But I am controlling the discs from the old laptop, the PC, the screens. I'm doing it all and we're running the show. So if we have a little of a hiccup along the way, do bear with us. We're trying our best here. So let's not talk about High Rocks just yet, because that's a very exciting topic to talk about. So do stay tuned for that. Scotty Scheffler. Oh my goodness! I mean,
it's unreal, isn't it?
It was so lovely to see Nick draw attention to the fact that if you saw Scotty Scheffler on the range hitting balls, you'd go, not sure that's going to work, but yet he is redefining consistency, how it can be done, and how exciting it is to watch.
I think this is the thing. As you said, it's every time. Well, I look at it and go, he can't. Can he continue to do this? But he can. And everyone said, can he continue to do this? But he can. He's dominated. He's dominating. Yeah, I mean, I think, but it's a classic case of he's that physically fit and strong that all the jiggery pokery going on down there, it's after the ball's gone. So, and he's so stable from here up, the delivery's there, and then he does his Irish jig and it goes close. And so, I think the convention of the kind of the pretty swing, it doesn't matter if that club face is under control.
No. And of course, playing around Muirfield, Jack's Place, it's a treacherous venue. So many greens at angles where you've got to move it into flags, and obviously a lot of fade flags, a lot of fade greens with bunkers left, water right. So much precision, dealing with not only curvature in the sky, but obviously with the depth, to show again that kind of level of accuracy. It was really, I mean, I'd have to say it's probably the most engaged I've been watching golf, purely because of what's needed around that golf course, and it was lovely to see scoring drawn back to some single digits.
And I think you see from who else was up there, Morikawa. You've got two guys that are, and I think this is where Scheffler's game's underrated. That my take on his action is that it means he's so much height as he comes down. I saw it said after the Masters how good his wedge game is, because that club face is so square through the ball. There's not rotation on it, so he's so in control of it. And as you say, those greens are firm. That was not an easy golf course at all. And you've got two of the best grinders and iron players up there, which on where they're going behind, picture of it behind us this week. It's hard to look past those couple of players.
100%. I was really surprised by Xander Schauffele. One, obviously at Valhalla, he made a decision, I think it was Friday, might have been Saturday actually, took drive on the short par 4, wanged it right, holed it out of the trap for 3, got very lucky. I was shocked at the decision making behind his play, and actually it all sort of unraveled a little bit from there. But when someone's in form, I think it just shows the invincibility that sometimes they can feel. And as amateur golfers, as golf professionals, you can easily get too confident, and you can actually play yourself into some crap golf. And it was, obviously the commentators, comms were very critical of it, and rightly so, because it was a dumb play at the wrong, but got away with it.
I agree. I think that is a classic case of, I've just won, I'm on a high, I'm going to force this. And those of us, they experience it for a few rounds in a row. We get it for a few holes in a row, and then we press something and go, God, why did I do that? That was a stupid error. And it's a bit like the whole mantra of amateurs now, like at the pro game, it's get it as far out there as possible. And I just don't get that. Certainly for amateurs, a strategy, this bomb it up there and just play as short a club in as possible. Actually play to a bit of the hole that takes some risk out and give yourself a better chance of making par. And I think around a hard golf course, that when they're playing a tough golf course, that comes out. Not statisticians, the strategists come out. The players that can control the yardages, control their emotions and thought processes. Hence, the US Open has a kind of winner. Andy North, dull as heck, but he won two. And I think, round a tough test, you see the players who I think maybe understand their games a little bit better win more.
And knowing their bad shots, right?
Yeah, 100%.
As per usual, we've got 2 of the discs. Well, I've got 3 this evening. Got 2 iPads, and I've got an OBS studio to control 3 different screens. It's going to be fun. Speaking of tough tests, there's been a little event going on over in Nice, and crikey. If you're not familiar, we've mentioned Kate Davey on the show, James's wife, who's usually sat behind the discs showing 2 fingers up at us most of the time. They're out in Nice, world champs, high rocks, and Kate qualified into the Elite 15. Now, if you're not familiar, high rocks is a salt course of
that's actually one of the best descriptions I've heard. Actually.
Yeah, of functionals.
Yeah.
And those functional exercises are pulling a sled, burpees, carrying some weights around, and with a 1 kilometre run in between. And it takes the fast girls just under a minute. And Kate is one of those fast girls. Yeah, sorry, an hour. Excuse me.
Speedy Gonzalez.
Yeah,
I mean, and she's aiming for that.
Yeah,
sure,
and she did it in 104, but the winner did it in 59:59. And to give you an idea of how many people are competing, I think there's 20,000 girls across the world that are competing to get into high rocks, and Kate qualified in 12th spot, I believe, and went on, hung out for a long time in second place for the first 10 minutes, and ended up finishing 6th, which, crikey, I mean, we see her train here. I train with her a little bit. I mean, it's incredible to see. 2 years ago, she hadn't done anything in high rocks, and now she's gone from being a competitor to actually someone that's got a potential of being on a podium, and depending on how hard she pushes, well, there's no question of that, but what her body would let her do to win the whole event. And on the back of that, finishing 6th, she went on and she won the mixed relay, the mixed event, that's it.
Mixed relay.
Yeah, and the team event.
Women's pro doubles, yeah. I think, as you say, the last couple of years, she started 2 years back, and then through last year, just missed out on Elite 15 at Worlds. Got into it early this season in the last sort of 9 months or so, and has done 4 or 5 of the Elite 15 events, and sort of gradually eking away up and changed coach a couple of months back, I think.
Yeah, 8 weeks ago.
And to the improvement in those 8 weeks, I think is astounding, quite frankly. In this now, we've always known that Kate is unbelievably driven. We've seen how hard she's worked, and to get that sort of fruition of those 2 years, but to not necessarily validate it, but to see a 6th in the individual, a win in the doubles, a win in the team, a double world champion, and there are more, and every time this happens, there are more and more people doing it. It gets harder and harder, and she's just getting better and better, which is, I mean, clearly, I'm developing abs just thinking about it. But yeah, I mean, in all seriousness, what an achievement. I think beyond even her expectations, quite frankly.
Yeah, and I said to Kate that you turn up an event like that, and invariably you're always thinking about the top half dozen stealing the show, and the bottom half, you're not making up numbers is wrong. Is no way, shape or form that at all, because you're top 15 in the world, but you don't feel like you're actually in the mix to take a title. Yeah. She was saying she ran in after the first K and on the rower, and she was lying in second place. No, it was actually after, it was the second functional. But she was shocked that she was in second place, and I think that just shows you how difficult the conditions were. It was really hot inside, how tough the whole field is, and tough the whole field found it. But not only that, the separation of her from top 6 to the other 6 was 4 or 5 minutes. And so all of a sudden, you've not only finished 6th by a hair's breadth, you've actually separated yourself away from it, and being part of the story of being second for a long time. Lauren Weeks, who's one of her coaches, she was beating Lauren, and Lauren had a fantastic year. She dropped down to 8th, had a terrible sled pull, and got back up to second. So I think all of us obviously on the team chat were watching it. It was such a great spectacle, And it's amazing to see that for something that's so new, that it really captivated the imagination, and YouTube put on such an opportunity for them to showcase what their event's all about. And I think
The
it's only
coverage
gonna
was a
go-
lot better this one.
Amazing.
I mean,
Yeah,
vastly better. It's been, quite frankly, amateurish until this, where the production level was
brilliant.
massively raised, and so you got to see better quality coverage, better imagery, but also being able to track who's where. I think they really elevated it, and I think set a really good platform.
Yeah. So a big heartfelt congratulations to Kate and her endeavours, and the whole Davey family that are out there probably knocking back some cocktails while we're stressing over about running a Monday Night Live show. But you crack on, you enjoy that, James and Kate. As usual, obviously we've got the conversation going on the iPads, so we'll kick ourselves off on the Precision Golf chat. Good evening, gents. This is from Mark Moon. I think in honour of Kate's fantastic achievements this weekend, you should do a club segment, a teaching segment, then a 1K run. It's what, do you know what? We're going to skip the 1K run.
He'd be all right with a run. I might struggle a bit.
Yeah, we'll skip the 1K run, but the nice idea, Mark, nice idea. Ryan Thorpe, good evening, chaps. I have a club fitting question regarding balance point. Ryan asks, could you show the difference a high balance point versus a low balance point at the same dead weight would make to how the club falls into the slot?
Yep, certainly. I'll grab a couple of options.
Wonderful. I am just going to flick up the Good Golf Coaching chat, see if there's any conversation going on there. Sean Quigley asks, hi Stuart, can you clarify the release for a draw with a 7-iron? The grip is mine, backswing 2, left hand pulls the club out and in. Thanks, Sean. So a lot of people talk to me about the release and how to draw the golf shots. I'm just going to double check on there. Yeah, no, we're all good. So we talk about draw, and historically drawing the golf ball has always been, first things first, we've got to get the path inside out. Path inside out is a bit of a faux pas because we see path inside out with the handle driving off this way, and if you're new to Precision Golf or my channel, you'll find out a lot about how bad that is. But really a draw flight is only 2 or 3 degrees closed to the face to path. So with a grip that's strong, and I mean strong, we've got a crease down through the left wrist, understanding that down at the bottom here, the golf club swinging still allows the face to be square through strike. Just because I've got a strong grip, feeling like I've still got pressure on the butt allows the loft to be there. Now, the simplest way to draw a golf ball is to close the face in your grip, then take your grip, and then rotate the forearms back to straight. That is the simplest way to just make the face just a little bit stronger than the path. And then, with a bit of luck, by aiming slightly more up to the right, because you've now rotated your forearms back to straight, and then you make your usual swing through it, we should start to see a golf ball that draws back to your target. Now, I didn't take any particular golf club, and that's gone quite close to the flag, and at that point, I'm supposed to click that button there, and hopefully you can see a little bit of the data. So I had a curve of 1 yard to the left. I think that would come under hitting a draw.
That's what you pros call a draw.
Oh, hang on, I've just put the opening segment back up there. It's going to be a comedy night, folks. I've got a lot of things going on. So that's the way I would recommend you doing it. Just close the face down, take your usual grip, and then square the face back up. Sorry about that new opening segment there. And that would be the best way to hit a draw. Hopefully that makes sense.
So for high balance and low balance point, I've actually got 2 shafts by Accra, the RPG series. One is a high balance, one's a low balance, but they're exactly the same dead weight. So going to start with the low balance. So there's about a couple of swing rate points in balance difference between the two. I will for this.
Oh, I've just knocked the track, man.
It's all right. We can
can you
recalibrate.
fix
We're
that?
all right. We're
Can
all
you
right.
fix that? Goodness
We're
me.
all right.
I'm now walking around with keyboards and control keys and all sorts. This is getting. I'm not sure.
It's getting hectic, isn't it?
For those of you that like to follow us on the channel, I've got a little bit of a piece coming up at Sky Sports. Did I tell you I've got another call up at Sky Sports covering the
Not
John
confirmed.
John Deere Classic. I'm covering in 3 weeks' time. Yeah, do it. And I've got
that's the one. It's normally when they do the final qualifier for the Open, isn't it? On
yeah, that's right. That's right.
PGA
Yeah,
Tour,
it's the week before the Genesis, the Scottish Open, the Genesis.
Okay, yeah.
But I've got a Saturday and Sunday this time, not a Thursday, Friday. So
No rest for the wicked.
Yeah, got a weekend stint on that.
So low balance. So in terms of delivery, what does this do? So if all you're doing is moving the balance point up and down the shaft, then what you're doing is changing how that club drops into plane. So if you're a player who doesn't pull on the shaft and doesn't create that kind of downward force, what happens is someone like a Brandt Snedeker, for example, very body oriented, very quiet arms, then if it gets too bottom heavy, then as a transition, the club drops in, gets stuck. If I pull down on the handle, then I need some weight in the bottom end to keep the club, not necessarily on perfect orthodox plane, but on the player's plane. So, which helps the club to fall into line, and then you can drive against that weight. So for me, where I use that bottom end, I can pull against it on the handle, sky it a little bit, but the club drops down into line. So, and I block it out, right.
That's right. Nobody needs to see that. Do you
No,
notice that?
that's
See the way I can just control the old
yeah, I like this.
different
I like
screens
this,
just from over here? I mean,
James
I
would
tell you
have
what.
left it up.
I tell you what. Well, but yeah. I tell you what. There's Simon's data up on the screen there. So 234 carry, 246, but yeah, it's a little bit high. Good club speed at 105, 2389 rev, and a spin axis of 8.5 to the right, 13 yards of cut.
So where I've changed to the high balance, I've moved the balance point up the shaft. If I make that same move, there's less mass in the bottom end to pull against. So essentially, it's easier to get the club head through. So if I put that same move on and give it a little bit of a pull from the top on the handle, then essentially the club head's got through the ball a little bit sooner for me. So it's gone left. So in essence, what the higher balance shaft does is for someone who's got less of an active arm pull, less of a kind of a dynamic kind of drive forward. If it's just body turn, then it then allows the clubber to come with you rather than you having to pull against it to fetch it. So if I quiet my arms down, then the club head there squares up, and then much more stable through the shot. So depending on how you deliver the club, how you move the club from here down, and which bits of your body you use to make that shift, the balance point helps the club to time, to drop into plane and to time through impact, so you can just build speed naturally. So that's what the balance point does.
Very good, very good. Gary Satterfield has come on, and he's actually asked, would it be possible for us to have a little match play? It'd be good to see us two compete against each other. You haven't got your, oh, you have got your clubs.
I can set one up on the front.
Go on and set one up, and then we'll answer the questions along the way, can't we?
Yeah.
As I've got my clubs with me this week. So let's go back to
we can do it
precision golf.
On the US Open.
Brilliant.
We're not doing off US Open tees though.
No, no. Go on, do it off US Open tees. That'd be funny.
Yeah,
that'd be funny.
Brutal.
So Josh Wright says, quick question for Simon on grip and swing weight. Got the GP Tour Velvet Midsize +4, have had hand injuries, and another club have CP2 midsize.
Yeah.
Would this change swing weight on the QI10 VI Sinister 65?
Yes. So forgive me, you can hear me but not see me. So yes, the CP2 mid-size.
I can change that. Hold that 1 second. I can change that. Look at that. I mean, with the magic of.
So the CP2 mid-size is heavier. is noticeably heavier. So the +4,
Staying short.
the +4 is if I was sort of doing this and listening and listening correctly, the +4 tall velvet is the standard size. I think is about a 55 gram grip. The CP2 in a mid-size is 64. So you're actually going to add dead weight to the handle end, but lose feel of the club head end. So to get the feel back, you've got to add weight to the head, but then you're adding 15 grams to the weight of the club. There are grips you can go to that are bigger that aren't as heavy. So a Lamkin Sonar in a mid-size, a Tall Velvet in a mid-size, Ionic in a mid-size. There are several that you can up the size with to take a little bit of the sting out of the hands and to relieve a bit of grip pressure. But grip weight really is key to how the club swings.
Good answer. Good answer. Let's flick that back to the face-on cam. So what hole have we got here?
Front nine, first.
416 yards.
Yeah, it's one of the few that's actually, there's one other which is the third. There's
Who's up first?
you
are.
Yeah,
You're up first. Right. Let me ask you another question while you're going up there. So Josh White goes on to ask, find CP2 has a bit more give to even out the grip across the hands compared to the Tall Velvet, but don't want to ruin the swing weight we came up with in fitting.
So if you want something that keeps a bit of give, then the Lamkin, the Sonar, whether it's the wrap or the Sonar Plus in the mid-size, will keep a bit of softness to it, but not be anywhere near as heavy. And seeing as this isn't real life, I'm hitting driver here just because
you can. I'm just going to go and get the other camera ready to standing by. I can't believe. I mean, the night that we decided to play few holes is the night that I'm running
US Open-ish, so it's US Open tees, firm fairways, firm greens. I've gone a bit safe, medium pins. I've gone a bit safe with 10 on the stimp rather than 12.
All right.
And I would never hit this club, but
Simon's a bit of a chicken when it comes to hitting driver. No, you are, because I was in front of you at the at Cosnavarino, and you were hitting a lot of 2 irons on holes that I was hitting driver.
Yeah, but that's because I knew where my driver could go. No, I hit it a lot, and then a couple of times I regretted it. There were a couple I've got the big stick out where I wouldn't normally. So
just put in your arm. Oh, that's nice. That's nice.
Missed sand.
Oh no, it's got a little bit of twist on it.
Although I carried it over the sand that I was hoping to.
Not bad. Look at this. I mean, I'm all over this. I mean, I've got so much going on. So all you've got to do, Simon, is press the control key, that one there.
Yep.
After I've hit it, once the ball takes off, don't get me out of shot too quickly, Simon. I like to be in shot. I actually hit some drivers earlier as well.
Oh, so practicing.
Yeah, absolutely. Operation 115.
Is that the score you're hoping for?
No. Come on. Stay straight.
Control button pressed, so hopefully that's actually worked. Oh, he's lucked one out into the middle of the fairway.
Lucked one out. That's the strongest suit of my game, that. Straight down the hay diddle diddle.
So there is a question that I will get to from Dr. Papinder Bogle, who was in earlier
294, by the way.
That's right, you hit the fairway.
Well, you know, it's all about the fairways. You're up next.
Back over
So what have we got here? What have we got here?
So 145.
So Nigel, hi guys, I have a GI10 driver and 5-wood with KBS Cat 4 shafts, 60 and 80, but can't seem to find a 3-wood with the same shaft in it or in. Is there any of the stock ones close in profile?
No, the KBS, is it TDs, I think you said?
Hang on.
The TDs, if it's TD, they're quite a particular...
He didn't say, so QI10s, that's all.
With the KBS, I think you said a KBS shaft in Cat 4. If it's the TDs, then they are quite a particular profile, and the stock ones will be quite different to that. Probably the closest, only the balance is different. The closest one might well be... so don't do that Diamana in the 70. Feel-wise, the hazardous black, but it will swing differently. Still less tip heavy. So.
Gary Setterfield goes on. How many holes are we playing, by the way?
We won't get that many in.
We'll play 2 holes. 3. We'll play 3 holes. We'll get 3 holes in. He says, Gary says the loser has to do 10 press-ups.
I better win then.
Oh, that's a naughty shot.
That stopped a bit quicker than I was expecting. for firm greens.
That's a naughty shot.
Oh, out the rough.
Yeah, 48,
Cheeky.
48, 3 feet.
Must have hit into an upslope.
Yeah, nice.
If it knows me, then it'll 3-putt me.
125.
So I'm gonna whilst you do that, I'm gonna ask you Bhupinder's question.
Ask me.
Yeah.
Oh,
Because it's about a swing. So he said,
Okay.
first bit he said, just had a driver fitting with Simon.
Yep.
Just like to sincerely thank him for his incredible expertise and patience in finding me the perfect shaft head combination for my driver. Never felt so comfortable and confident.
Yeah.
The main question is, I know, Stuart, you like to use the ground in the swing, but often see players lifting their left heel. And for those of us who are less flexible, would you consider that okay to help us make a fuller and longer turn, help initiate the weight shift back and the downswing? Or do you feel this is not a good thing to do?
No, 100%. I think it's a good thing. I think it's a good thing. I think when you start to lift the heel but still load the toe, you start to get a little bit more mobility. I think there's been way too many golfers out there that have actually resisted with the knees, held the knee out, and reduced hip turn.
That was a thing. 90s were all turn.
Yeah, big time, big time. You know, there's a bit of kit that I use, Sport Box, which it really gives people an idea of understanding exactly how much hip turn and shoulder turn they use. And we see 30, 35, 40 degrees of hip turn now more prevalent in the PGA Tour. So I think the more you can get that knee kicking in, which can help lift the hip up, lift the heel up rather. But I think if the heel's lifting up, a lot of the time it can be that the fact that the right hip is a little bit too far forwards. I think if you've got your right hip a little bit deeper and a bit more pressure into your right heel, I think you'd find that you could create more hip rotation without the need to lift the left heel up. Bhupinder just trying to put me off my little pitch shot here, is he?
Well, I chose the time.
Exactly, exactly. All right, 125. Little pitch in there. Come on, Stu. Oh, I don't think I've hit that hard enough.
So, well, I was going to say, have you remembered it's firm greens?
Oh,
It's into wind. I forgot to look at the wind.
Oh, Stuart. Oh, Stuart.
It's a good job.
That's
you
not
knew that
bad,
it was
is
into
it?
wind, and I didn't check.
That's not bad, is it? 17 feet.
It's auto. Thankfully, you don't have to putt on this.
Oh, right. Okay.
Two-putt par, two-putt par.
So
There you go.
levels on the first. Levels on the first. All right. Let's get another few of those questions coming in. Goodness me, what a night to decide to do this. Probably not the best idea. So Phil says, hi guys, dressed so seriously today. Is there a porn rule for launch for every clubs? Is there a porn rule for launch for every clubs?
I'm assuming that's
Launch
autocorrect
angle.
and hopefully not from history.
Launch angle and a drill for feeling how far the swing arc and handle is actively accelerated. I'm not quite sure of your question there. And when the braking effect begins without body stopping. I hope I explained clearly. Yeah, so the swing effect is very dependent on how much you load the golf club. So if you're a puller of the golf club, what you'll tend to see is a download in your downswing. So when you pull it, you'll load it. And it's really about the right leg range that you start to feel that golf club unload. You can still keep the body moving and unloading the golf club. The body does not have to stop in any way, shape or form, but we just need to stall out the handle to allow that club head to start to swing. It's crucial because if you don't allow it to swing, you're going to have to make all kinds of compromises through strike to get the face line back up. So really around the right leg is a great time to think about it. If you've not checked out a video on my channel, I stole the wife's hairband and tied a club shaft around my leg. So the club...
You must have spent hours lonely at night thinking about these drills.
So the club shaft is strapped to your leg like so, or an alignment stick with a band around your leg. And then what you can do is, so imagine that's strapped to my leg. Watch yourself, Simon. I make a backswing, and then what I try to do is keep my handle in front of that cane so you feel the pull and the unload. Can you now see how that handle is unloaded past where the cane would be on my leg, and all of a sudden you get a positive angle of attack and a face looking left, which will give you that high draw. Go check that out. I think it's got me standing there like this, some stupid thumbnail, but
I was going to offer to hold it behind you, but I thought better of it.
Yeah, that could be a cinema
misconstrued completely.
Absolutely.
Right.
Well,
nice
best
short
of luck.
par 4, 515-yard par 4.
Right, well this is where the 415 mile an hour clubhead speed is going to come into its own. Bosh. Oh, you went after that one,
Might get
didn't you?
away with it.
You went after that one.
Might get away with it.
Oh, a little
Not
bit of a
that
toe
well
looper.
hit, but might get away with it.
A little bit of a toe looper. Is she on the fairway? Makes a big difference being on the fairway. Get a bit of pace out of it, don't you? Look at that.
Yeah,
That's
I needed
nice.
it after that strike.
That's nice. That's nice. 284 down the middle.
Yeah, there's a rotter of a
not
strike,
bad.
but I'll take it. It's
not bad.
It's in play.
It's
We've only
not
got
bad.
about another 250 yards in.
Yeah, it's not bad. Oh, it's a little.
Control button after you hit. Is that the...
Yeah, control button after I've hit. I think I'm just going to try myself have a little bit of a fade down there. That's what it looks like it's calling out for. Is that right? Is a fade hole, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Oh. Stu,
Is that
Why-
a call of satisfaction,
Why?
or is that a...
why are you only a coach? If only you'd been better. If only you'd been better. If only you'd been better. Beautiful. Straight down the hay diddle diddle. He didn't put up the.
Oh, sorry.
No,
I was
that's all
looking
right.
at
That's all right.
questions.
That's all right. That's all right. That's all right. That's all right. So that's you. That's Simon's
240 to a
second.
back pin.
Hey, that's what you've got left. You've got 240. As long
Yeah,
as you're
but
up
it's
first.
firm.
As long
So
as Simon's up first.
240 to a back pin. This has actually got bulleted 4-iron written all over it. Firm fairways, firm greens. Don't wanna go long, but I'm gonna need to absolutely nuke this one.
So. We've got a. Oh.
Which I have
Oh.
actually. I can't.
Oh my
I've got
goodness.
nothing left
Oh
after
no.
that.
Don't come up short. Don't come up short. Oh, it hasn't come up short. Oh my goodness me. What have you gone and done? No, that's total respect. That's
That
class.
was. I've got
That was
nothing
that
left
was
on
classy
that.
shot. That I'm not overly happy with that.
Do you notice that the kind of the
yeah.
tone down? That, oh,
Yeah.
I got the green.
I better start warming up the old press.
You only got 225.
225. Well, that's got to be a little feathery devery 4-iron, isn't
Remember,
it?
it's firm.
Yeah. A little
Be kinder.
a little Virginia 4-iron.
So Chris Shanks, what can you assume about somebody's swing with a 92 mile? Actually, I've missed one from Cool Breeze. I'll come back to that. The 92 mile an hour 7-iron speed. Enjoys playing a Nippon 950 iron shaft. Curious, what is it about the lighter weight that I enjoy? Not everyone who has high club speed actually needs a lot of weight. It depends how you develop your speed. You can have a lot of speed, but it's a kind of crack at the whip and a snap rather than a kind of a hammer hit. So if you have speed but not a kind of a hit at the ball, the lighter weight allows you to move fast and comes with you. So just because you've got a lot of club speed doesn't mean you need heavy weight. That's where club fitting has gone wrong over the years, and it's assumed that if you have a lot of speed, you must need heavy to control it. And sometimes, which potentially what you're finding there, it's completely the opposite.
Very good, very good. Right. Didn't like him putting me off my 4-iron there, but I'll let him have that question. Come on, Stu. He's only gone and bloody played one, hasn't he? Right, going to need another little fade into that Scott flag. Oh, I've whiffed it. I've whiffed it. Go hard. Go hard.
Stick
Go
it on the
hard.
screen there.
Go hard.
No, that could come
Go
out.
hard.
That could bounce
Oh,
up.
go on.
Oh, it's just,
Go on.
just made it. I tell you what.
Go on.
We could sell
Go
that
on.
to quite a few players this week. I'll at US Open.
Oh, I'm all about
It's
that.
amazing what a square club
I'm all
face can
about
do.
that. I'm all about that. 20 feet. What's it given us? 2 putts for par. 2 putts for par. Some would say that we can play this game.
Some would
Some
say,
would say.
we don't have to putt.
Oh dear, I'm
I'll
all
go back to that
nervous.
Cool Breeze. Evening, fellas. Hope you're both well. Huge congrats to Kate. Stuart, can you give a drill or two for low point control? On average, 1 degree down with a 7-iron. Be good to work on better compression. Thank you.
Best drill is to take the golf club in your right hand, pop your left hand underneath your right elbow, and just do a few little through swings where you get your right foot to step back to the right and you get your right shoulder to almost replace where your left hip would be. So you go back halfway, step back and make a little through swing. And what this pushing back is doing is making your right shoulder come around the golf ball. If the right shoulder accelerates, it keeps the handle underneath you, which allows you to get some downstrike on the ball. But the pressure off the left leg, the lead leg, is the really engine of being able to make your right side accelerate, which will allow you to get that angle of attack and a little bit more pinch on the golf ball.
Very nice.
All right,
Now,
what have we got here?
It's this is the only hole on this golf course that's not as a par 3 that's under 400 yards.
Is that right?
I mean, there are only 2 of them under about
Is that
450, and the first is one of them.
Well, we've hit. Oh, I've hit 2 from 2. You're one from 2. So you need. That looks a little narrow up there.
Yeah, but this is match
looks-
play, isn't it? So.
Yeah, oh, fair dues, fair dues, fair dues.
And I've got a friend of mine that says if it's not a par 3, it's driver.
Right.
So I'm channeling Mr. Skeldon in this.
Lots of luck.
Going to need it with that fairway.
Oh, how's she looking? How's she looking? Awfully
A
straight.
little high on the face.
Awfully
but square
straight. Look at
square
that. You've
club
only
face.
fed it through that little neckaroonie there. Oh my goodness. I mean, honestly, people should be paying to watch this kind of golf. Nice.
I'll take that.
298. A little high off the
Bit of a-
face.
bit of a
Oh
slap.
my goodness. I'm not sure
But
I signed
it's
up.
high
for
off a
this.
square face, which is the most important thing.
I'm not. We're never going to live this down. Whoever loses this, and I feel like
It's almost as if the viewers might think we're
I'm
competitive.
starting to get a little.
We
bit,
hate losing to one
I'm
another.
starting to get a little bit nervous. Oh no! Oh no! I can hear people unsubscribing from my golf coaching channel as I miss the fairway down there.
Gary's saying, now I know that you guys do anything I suggest, I can't wait until next week.
Oh, I might have found one down the middle as well. Come on, turn.
Oh, look at that. He's even just
Oh,
played the draw back into the fairway.
Yeah, yeah, that was tasty. That was tasty.
Look at that. Look, it's just
was
trundling up to my ball.
Yeah,
There
yeah,
we
just
go.
short of yours. Yeah, all right.
You did that. You did that on purpose to have the next shot in, didn't you?
Very
Paul
good.
Andrews, just want to say thank you for the content on the Good Golf Coaching channel. The grip playlist I watch has already made a huge difference to my game. Great stuff. And
You're
Joe Dog,
welcome.
hi guys, working on getting my path closer to 0 to 1, normally +5 from inside. Struggling with excessive curb, especially with driver. Sometimes hit up too much. Any simple drills to start? Thanks, Joe.
What was the question again?
Gets too much from the inside, 5 degrees from inside, and hits up on it a bit too much. Any simple drills to start getting basically reducing the curve and getting a little bit more online?
Put your golf ball as far outside your left foot as possible. It's like, surely not. Surely I want to move it back. But the more forwards you put the golf ball, the more it will cause your upper half to want to go chasing it. And the more forwards in the stance you put it, the more you'll start to catch it on the way back in. And as long as you feel like when you finish your swings, you've got your top half overhanging your bottom half, your angle of attack will start to come down. And because the golf ball is that far forwards, your path line will start to wash a little bit more left on you. So, ball long way forwards. And when I mean long way forwards, I mean outside your little toe, right the way out here. And then you'll really start to feel like yourself got to come over it, hit down on it, but tee it low as well to start with, because that might encourage you to hit a few high ones.
You've got 101 pin at the back, firm greens, remember, breeze off the left. Whilst you do this, I'm going to answer one. How do Freddie M, how do the KBS Tour X compare to a dynamic old X100? Very similar weight, maybe a couple of grams less at 130 to 132 for the KBS. It's a higher balance point, slightly softer tip. So you're going to get a bit more feel out of it. It's going to be a little easier to get through the ball from a swinging point of view. But in theory, very marginally higher launch, but you're going to get a bit more feedback without it swinging quite so heavy.
As we are 1-all, as we are all square, whoever hits it closest wins, and the other person,
We're doing hits it closest though, okay.
yeah, whoever hits it closest, the
Right.
other one does the 10 press-ups. Okay?
The viewers better hope it's not me, because I'll be blowing and making lots of noise, whereas you won't. Ooh. Ooh.
Oh,
Ooh.
oh,
Ooh.
oh,
So I've got to hit the green.
oh, just hit the green.
I mean,
just hit
I
the green.
would say that I think you want to do press up.
I definitely
Yeah, have
don't
you got
wanna
your
do
gym
press
session in
up.
today? Is that what it's all about?
I haven't actually. I
98
haven't
yards.
actually.
So I'm going to play little knockdown with a 56. I've gone the chicken way in, a little low. Oh, hang on.
Oh.
Thought I was going to get a little bit of spin.
Oh, what was I?
But I am closer. 11 yards, you're 15. Look at that form, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. Whilst he's larking about on the floor. God, that was quick. Horse racing legends. Fitted into Apex irons with Oban CT115. Bought spray and all toe strikes. Tried to spray on my Nike irons with S300 and butter center striking. I'm horrified. So the lighter balance, if it's out the toe, is then the CT115 is a higher balance steel. So that potentially just means there's not enough mass taking you down to the bottom of the ball. The S300 is a little heavier, and that's taking you into the bottom and getting you to extend into impact. So that is highly likely to be the difference between the two there for you.
I'm disappointed about that. I'm disappointed about that.
I mean, disappointed neither of us hit the green from 100
I
yards.
know.
That's just trying to be too clever with the approach shot.
I know, after hitting those long ones in. I'll tell you what, let's go the other way around, and then I can ask you, and you can ask Guy. Where are we up to? Horse racing, so he did horse racing legend. Yeah. So Neil Wyatt asks, tendonitis is forcing me into looking at graphite iron shafts. Should I look at same weight as my Modus 105s? The recoil dart 90 and 105 interests me. Thoughts on those shafts, or suggest an alternative?
If you're changing, rather than for performance, purely for that vibration dampening, then a similar weight is definitely a good way to go. Certainly the recoil darts will be a less harsh feel than some of the others, and when you're getting up to 100 odd grams in a graphite or a composite, there's a lot of material, so they can feel quite harsh, quite dead, whereas in steel the wall thickness is much thinner, so you get a bit more load, a bit more feedback out the shaft. So something like the recoil will take a little bit of sting out of it, but there aren't a huge amount of shafts at that weight that are going to feel softer. It might be worth looking at grip as one route as well, to take a little bit of sting out, rather than rather than just the graphite shaft route.
Very good. Anything on there?
So Dagelio, I'm presuming that's the right pronunciation. Hi guys, question for Stu. I'm struggling to launch the driver consistently but still play off single figures. Where would you suggest I start to look for better results?
Launching the driver is something that everyone, I think, would love to be better at. As Simon will attest to, getting the launch right and the spin right is ultimately what's going to make you hit it a long way, not just launching it up, because launching it up with lots of spin is actually going to make you worse for it. The first thing to do is to, depending on whether you're a fade bias guy or draw bias guy, is to start to really change the way the lever works. Now you can hit up on the golf ball by pulling the shaft and striking up. You can hit up on the ball by allowing the golf club to unload. Again, you'll find out which one you are by how much you are with your irons, how steep you are. So once you've worked out what that delivery pattern is, because everyone is going to have something that's slightly different, I would play around with the golf ball and your alignment. So if you're someone that hits up with a shaft lean, I would go stronger with your hold initially, because if you've got shaft lean and then you start to sit back, you're going to invariably start to make the face a little bit weaker. If you're a draw bias guy and you unload the golf club, again, get the ball a bit further back and really start to aim yourself a little bit more to the right. Because if you start to aim yourself a little bit more to the right and you bump the ball forwards, as you start to feel that golf club unload, you'll start to feel it unload around the corner. And that unloading it around the corner will really start to get, oh, I didn't realise it was still on the screen. You'll start to see the draw, if we can click it on control.
You've hit it into the town of Pinehurst.
Yeah,
it is over the road in Pinehurst. Yeah.
So you can actually see that I've got really quite a nice bit of elevation on that. I've got a little bit of draw bias as well. The angle of attack, we can't see what that was, but I can attest that that was probably 4 or 5 up in that sort of region. I'm not sure if we can.
Can we click on? Yeah, we
Oh
can.
yeah, there you can.
The angle of attack will be here, 8.
Yeah, so a long way up, a long way up. The other one is with that forward shaft lean. So I'm going to look to create forward shaft lean, but then hit up on it.
So I got a tee shot for you this time.
Okay, great.
Thought it'd be a bit easier than chip.
So forward shaft lean and hitting up. So a lot low in ball flight because I lent the shaft forwards, but hopefully still created an up strike. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, I'll get the up strike data.
Fingers crossed.
Tiles. I didn't quite catch it in time.
Oh, okay. Let's have another go. I did quite well on that one as well. So forward shaft lean, rise up. Yeah, a bit low on the face, that one. But maybe it got would it have got the club head?
Yeah, should have done, yeah.
So as you
We've got to wait for the ball to stop.
Yeah, as you lean the shaft forwards, you strike up. Again, two very different dynamics about how you create up strike, and it's the second one that most golfers have thought about creating.
3.2.
Yeah, so 3.2 angle degree of up strike, but that was just because I lent the shaft forwards, but I just rose the handle up through strike. And that's what we've seen historically of people understanding about hitting up on the ball, which is one of the reasons you add that to inside out and hitting up, why the world is a prolific heel striking, slicing machine, as opposed to feeling the golf club unload, feeling the butt pressure with that good hold. You can allow that club to swing. You can create that angle of attack up. I can still feel the golf club down, let the club swing, and you can still create super high launch with a nice amount of draw. I'm on form tonight with the old driver. But got fitted quite well by someone who's not too far away from us at the moment.
The other one, actually, I think is a good follow-on from this. Lewis Kane's, I struggle with open club faces and shanks. I know my grip's too weak, but if I strengthen it, I hit it further right. I think I'm perhaps not releasing it. Any thoughts / drills?
Yeah, and I did a great drill. I did a great video on this that's going nuts at the moment. Actually, I think it was on 8,000 and only after a couple of days, where where I talk about getting your left shoulder low. You know, left shoulder low is obviously the complete polar opposite of someone thinking about trying to get inside out. So if you do make your grip stronger and you've still got this inside out trait, I can't ever offset, even with the most strongest of club faces, an handle rising up because of how shut the blade is. So getting that left shoulder lower in your through swing, where it almost feels like it's lower than your right shoulder, will really start to encourage that ball to draw around to the left.
Sorry, you guys, I forgot to switch the
That's
control
right.
button.
That's
That was
right.
why you couldn't see it.
Let me do that again then. So I'm really trying to feel left shoulder low, and again, it goes completely against everything anyone had ever told you. Left shoulder low will start to lift the club head up, which will get that angle of attack. But not only that, it'll really start to get that face closing over for you. You know, again, that's my right shoulder feeling like it's high, and you'll really start to get, and again, we can see that ball bending away to the left. So I would go left hand down, left shoulder down, right shoulder up with that stronger hold. And I think that will fix your slices and shanks. But go check that video out. I forget what the thumbnail is. Yeah, but it's the last 1 or 2 videos.
We'll try and remember to press control next time.
Yeah, that's all right. That's all right. God, I've done more ball beating tonight than I've ever done. That's normally your job. Who have we got here? So Frank Lehman, hi. Please, can you explain and recommend the optimized grip handle size? Greetings from Hamburg, Germany.
So, I mean, it's a bit of an interesting one. I mean, a base point would be, a start point is going to be what size glove do you wear, and kind of from a core size point of view. So if you're a medium or small, you're certainly going to be a standard size. Medium, large to large, you're creeping towards and into a mid-size. And really it's about getting it sitting in your hands correctly. Ideally, I'm going to come close to the camera for this one. So ideally, what we want to see, once it's into your hands, is that visible? I can't quite see.
Yeah, perfect.
is you want little finger round past the center of the grip there, because that clamps it in. And then you want, as I close it down, tips of the fingers touching the pad of the thumb. So then you're getting lots of contact from the hands onto the grip. So you maximize the contact, you minimize the pressure required to get that control. And then similarly in the bottom hand, I'm going to come this side, what we're looking for is when you place the grip on, that it sits comfortably in that trigger finger. So if you're someone who's got a long hand, sort of, you know, a wide spread, wide wingspan, you might find that you need to build out the bottom hand a little bit, reduce the tapering, so a +4 grip potentially, to not have to clamp down on it to get control. It is a bit of a mixture of the theory of that and then the practice element of it feeling comfortable. We've had many people over the years where the theory of the grip size suits really well, but it just doesn't feel comfortable. And ultimately, it's your only point of contact with the club, so it has to feel comfortable. If it doesn't feel comfortable, you will tense up in your hands, and that tension goes all the way across here, and you lock out and you lose all that fluidity. So there's a little bit of, to a point, if you haven't got someone to go to advise, and it's a little bit of trial and error. If you're, say, medium or a small grip, a standard size, an extra couple of layers underneath a standard core size. If you're medium large to large on the glove, then a mid size could quite feasibly be the right base point, and see how little pressure it feels like you've got to exert to keep control of the club. The better the grip size, the less pressure you're going to need to exert.
John Puckett, good evening. Good evening, John. Look forward to this show every Monday. Thanks, John. Nice to have you along with us. Can you do a comparison with the Mizuno 243 and the Srixon ZX2? Swing comparison or differences you've noticed in the bays?
So differences in the bays. The 243 has a little bit more pop off the face than the 221 did, and actually than the ZX7 does. Was it ZX7?
Zoe ZX7.
ZX7. Yeah. So because the 243 has a bit of face tech, it's got a thinner face, it's got a little bit more ball speed generation from that. Visually from the top line, it's a little bit neater, which quite a lot of players like. Equally speaking, a lot of players like the flatter top line, the ZX7. ZX7 to launch angle has a little lower spin, or the 243 has moved closer to that this year. Probably a little bit more ball speed off the 243, but a slightly more solid feel as a result on the ZX7. So both really, really good club heads. If you're a little bit steeper on the ball, the ZX7, that sole shape, that little bit of an angled profile, definitely helps with turf interaction.
Very good. MY is having a chat with Neil Wyatt. Papa B, hello young men. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Is there a way to know when a shaft needs upgrading? I play a Diamana DF60S in my TSR2 and love it, but wonder if a newer version or similar shaft might be even better. You're the best.
Thank you very much. If it's working well, chances are it's minimal what you're going to see. So for example, my driver that I changed last year, the shaft that I'm in now is basically very, very, very similar. It just feels a little tighter, and I fancy something a bit bright. But no, it genuinely swings really well. But I gained, after 7 years, 5 or 6 yards. A little bit of forgiveness, but if a shaft swings well, it's because functionally the weight works, the balance works, and it's allowing you to move naturally and consistently. So don't necessarily go looking for a change. I mean, the Diamana, I think it was the B series, it's not that old, it's a couple of generations old. The Diamana is always going to be a great quality shaft. So if it's working well, sometimes you can, like Stuart said earlier about the swing, you can play yourself, you can change out of something and lose performance. Sometimes we can go looking for a little bit too much. So if it's working well, TSR is a great driver head. So don't necessarily go looking for something for the sake of it.
Bhupinder Bogle says, thank you guys. Jason Dawson, evening gents. Fitted last week and gone from True Temper Speed Step ATR Flex shafts to KBS Tour V 120Xs in the irons. How should...
Not much of a difference then.
Or can I swing to make the original clubs work whilst I wait for the new ones?
Swing smooth is the ultimate. If you've gone from an 85 gram shaft to 120 gram, then the extra weight and structural stability of the Tour Vs is going to give you something you can drive against and use that mass to build speed and to keep control. So with your current 85 grams, basically just pare it back, swing smooth, and we'll do our best to get those clubs to you as soon as possible.
Severiano, Ballesteros.
So,
Mike Hunt.
beg your pardon.
Bless you.
Dalen Foley said, any advice for heel strikes with driver? Your shoulder videos helped me tremendously escape the swinging from inside fallacy, but I still find myself missing out on the heel. Thanks.
Yeah, a common one, and it's brutal, really. A couple of, and I did a video on this. The trouble with putting a water bottle or something like a head cover on the outside, it still allows a golfer to come from the inside, hit it out the toe, but still really find the strike out of, or strike the golf ball with an open face. I did a video with some boxes, and really what you need to have is a no-go zone to the left of the golf ball, so that you actually feel like you could strike from the outside, but absolutely nothing available to you on the outside on the way through. And because it's on the outside of the golf ball, obviously you whip it out the toe, but not only that, you make the golf club start to swing back inside. So lie your head cover down, or lie your water bottle down, and set it up so if you did whack it out the heel, you'd crash into the water bottle or the head cover. And then that way it hopefully allow you to feel like you can move on the inside and crack one out of the toe. But that's the best way of getting that. You do need a little bit of work with the handle track. I'll go check out one of my TheraBand videos on that.
There's some great comments about us forgetting the control button.
Okay.
And there was a comment, Doug Elliott said, was it Hogan who said missing a green with a wedge is like missing your mouth with a fork? Sadly, yes.
Yeah, well,
that's why he's so thin. Can't feed himself.
I played a lot of golf in Australia, and hitting wedges into greens strike more fear into me than it did hitting fairways with drivers, because you know, so firm and fiery, which they're going to have this week. It really, the strike, the flight, the spin is just crucial, you know.
Well, I mean, look, case in point here, I mean, it's actually quite a useful time. If I play a standard 80-yard, my standard 80-yard shot, and this is a US Open firm green, you know, then if you just play the number, then
kaboing.
Yeah, it's pitching pin high,
gone
long.
Yeah.
And now I've got a hideous little chip back uphill onto a downslope, miserable.
Yeah.
It's gone 89 yards. It's carried bang on 80. That was good, wasn't it? So that's some of the stuff they're going to have to work out this week, is how do you play that? They're going to be firm. You've got slopes. You're going to have a better miss, and all this stuff that's got to go into the melting pot of how do I play this shot and still give myself a shot that I can be positive with on the next one. This US Open I think is going to be fascinating.
I think the people don't appreciate quite the difficulty of getting balls close when the greens are that firm. I mean, you only have to go down and play at places like Prince's, Wilson George's, you know, these links golf courses that have got so much bounce on the first pitch that you just lose all spin and lose all control, and all of a sudden you're having to think about putting lines back from 100 yards. It's hard work, and it's like knowing the next chip you're going to have, isn't it? Because you go over the back, then you catch a swale and catch a swale, and you can be up and around the back of a bunker having to play a high lob shot onto a concrete.
And this more than almost anywhere else, as you say, it's a bit like snooker, where they've got to think 3 shots ahead. And they haven't got simple pin positions this week either. They're not. They wouldn't be the stuff that we'd get if we went out there. They are tucked.
Give me a winner this week.
Morikawa.
Morikawa.
I was thinking about him even before he came second last week. I mean, Scheffler's an obvious one, but I think Morikawa, again, iron play around here. Control your golf ball, play from the fairway, control your golf ball.
I'm going to go Bryson.
Interesting, yeah. I mean, it's a big golf course, and you can take out a load of trouble.
And also, he could be in a lot of irons.
True.
Could be in a lot of irons.
Iron,
flighted spin.
Interesting.
Well, it's been another fun-packed show for us. We've not been able to get through all the questions. Hopefully we can double back on some of those next week. Thank you ever so much for everyone joining us and bearing with us for having to spin up a few different discs tonight, but we've really enjoyed it. Busy week still, plenty going on in the studio.
Yeah, it gets into this time of year. We get the kind of what I would say the more recreational golfers coming in. Early season, the kind of very serious, get set for the start of the year. I would say when the weather improves, but it's been hooning it down today. But so we tend to see a slightly different golfer come into this part of the year, which is so just a different kind of challenge. But yeah, still a nice busy week in the studio.
Fantastic. Well, we are here every Monday night at 6 p.m. If you've enjoyed our show, we'd really appreciate you giving it a little like and maybe a share with your friends, and let them know that we're here every Monday at 6 p.m. to take your questions on all things golf equipment and golf coaching. From Simon and I, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll look forward to seeing you next week.